Alright, so for this last part that we're going to do right now for the ballet flat, we're going to add the toe stiffener. Okay, we're also going to have the counter stiffener. So I'm going to walk you, and then we're going to close up the whole thing like we did before, gluing it down on the base. So the first thing that we're going to do is remove all of the nails here. Alright. Like these better. Okay, at this point, this is something that you don't really want to forget. You still have 3 tacks in here, 1 nail, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and remove those now. At this point, everything, the first layer is lasted and it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and take out that center tack, and I'm going to go out and take out this tack that was here in the back. Okay, now there are no tacks here in the bottom, so we don't forget about that. I'm going to go ahead and hammer this area. Okay, so if you're at the shop, at the school, or you have a Dremel, you can go ahead and sand this down. So I'm going to go ahead and just run it on the sander really quick, but all you want to do is fade this down to 0 so there's not a drop off here. You can see the material thickness that's still here, so you just want to sand that down and get it nice and smooth, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so you can see I've just kind of sanded these wrinkles down so it's nice and smooth here, so I don't have a drop off there anymore. Alright, so at this point I'm ready to go ahead and start putting on my stiffeners. Let's go ahead and put this toe stiffener on. So what we're going to do with that, let me get these tacks out of the way. Hey guys, you gotta be quiet. Alright, so with our toe stiffener, this is obviously way too big. This is kind of a one size fits all, so this is bigger than we need. What we're going to do is go ahead and take this, and I'm going to mark a line here so I can show you. You don't want this stiffener all the way up to the top line butting against the pattern. It's too high. I'm going to bring it down a bit here. I'll mark it with a pen so you can see a line here. Okay, so here you have kind of an empty space, and then here I'm going to have my stiffener start there. So before I do this, I'm going to put some glue here, and I'm going to use like Renia. If you only have rubber cement, you can use that, but I'm going to put glue here, and I'm also going to put glue here on the bottom face in this area so that I can pull this toe stiffener underneath. Alright? And again, same thing, we're not going to put too much glue. You want a nice thin coat of glue here. This is just going to help the toe stiffener stick in place. It does have its own adhesive on it, however, I think it's usually not that great. So I like to give it a little bit of extra assistance. So you can see I put a little bit here underneath, a little on the top, and that's it. Not too much glue. Okay? So here, I'm just gonna put a heat gun on this really quick just to speed it up a little bit. Okay. Heat gun there. I'm gonna go ahead and take my toe stiffener, lay it right on the line that I had, and I'm gonna go ahead and start to heat that up. Get my upper out of the way. I'm just kind of folding it up there, and I'm starting to put heat on this stiffener. And you want to heat it evenly, just kind of moving around, and it'll start to soften up. Sometimes I heat the bottom of it a little bit, and you can see it kind of getting a little bit softer here, and it kind of gets like the consistency of like a piece of cheese when you heat it. So it gets a little soft here. I'm going to heat under the toe as well. Heat here. And you should make sure that there's an adhesive side of this, and there's also a side that feels like fabric. You want the fabric side up. All right, so now that this is heated nicely, I'm just going to lay it down here where I want it to be. You can do this with a lasting pincer, but I find it's pretty easy. It's malleable. You can kind of just stretch it over the last with your hand. Okay, so I've kind of pulled it under past the feather edge, and I like to do this step now while it's still kind of malleable before it sets up. And I'm going to go back here and kind of trim off the excess. There's a lot of excess here. But I'm only cutting away the toe stiffener pretty much right at the feather edge. And I would be doing this while I'm sitting down if I was you. I'm just kind of trying to do this and stay near the camera. Okay, cool. So I've got that done. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and sand all this down smooth. So I'm going to run it back on the sander.